This story is inspired by real events, Crimson Files, the Black Dahlia Requiem. The city does not sleep. It only pretends. The streets hum beneath the weight of neon and sin. And somewhere in the gray dawn, a phone rings in a police station that smells of smoke and rain. Detective Samuel Cross answers with a tired voice. He has been waiting for a call like this all his life. Body found in Lemert Park, the dispatcher says. Female. Early 20s, no ID. Cross hangs up, pulls on his coat, and steps into the morning air that tastes of metal and dust. The city stretches before him, wide and cruel. It glitters like a promise that never meant to be kept. When he arrives, the crowd is already gathered. They stand behind yellow tape, whispering hunger in their eyes. Reporters shout questions. The flash of cameras flickers like lightning over a corpse. She lies in the grass in two perfect halves, bloodless, clean, her skin pale, her mouth carved into a smile. Too wide, too wrong. Cross stares and feels nothing. He has trained himself for that. He kneels, the cold earth pressing against his knees. The body is posed, too carefully, too proud. Whoever did this wanted to be seen. The coroner mutters something about precision, surgical, maybe. Cross nods. He already knows. He can smell the arrogance of it, the performance, the theater of death. Later, at his desk, he lights a cigarette and watches the smoke curl like ghosts above his head. The papers are already printing headlines. Black Dahlia, murder. Beauty slain in Hollywood. The name sticks before she is even buried. Her real name? Elizabeth Short, 22 from Massachusetts. Dreams too large for her pockets. She came west, chasing movie lights, and found only the shadows. Cross opens her file. The words blur together. Waitress, aspiring actress. Missing since January 15th. He closes the folder and stares at the rain streaking down the window. The city outside hums indifferent. He visits her boarding house on Franklin Avenue. The landlady, a tired woman with curlers in her hair, says, Elizabeth was quiet, polite, always late with rent, but smiled enough to get away with it. She had visitors, sometimes. Men in suits. Nice cars. One of them a doctor, she thinks. Cross writes the word doctor in his notebook and underlines it twice. The morgue smells of formaldehyde and regret. The coroner slides the drawer open and the cold air bites Cross in the face. He looks at her again. Her eyes closed. Her skin waxy. Perfect. The cuts clean, straight, deliberate. Whoever did this had steady hands and a steady heart. That night, Cross cannot sleep. He drives through the empty streets. The city reflected in puddles like broken mirrors. The radio hums static. He imagines her walking alone that night. The sound of heels tapping on wet pavement, the promise of safety that was never real. A letter arrives at the Los Angeles Examiner. Neat typing, clipped tone. Inside are her photographs, her papers, and a note that reads, Here is Dahlia's belongings. Expect more soon. Cross feels the chill before he finishes reading. The killer is speaking directly to them, to him. The chief wants results. The mayor wants headlines. The press wants blood. Cross wants none of it. He only wants quiet. But Los Angeles never gives quiet. It gives noise and smoke and ghosts. He follows the trail to a diner off Hollywood Boulevard. The waitress remembers Elizabeth, a smile that could light the room, she says. But behind it, something else, like fear. Later, another witness mentions a man. Gray suit, gloves, expensive car. Cross finds his name in hotel records. Dr. George Haskin, surgeon, vanished 2 days after the murder. The next morning, Cross drives to Pasadena, fog rolling across the hills. The house stands alone behind iron gates. He knocks, no answer. He knocks again, still nothing. He tries the door, unlocked. Inside, the air smells of whiskey and disinfectant. On the desk, photographs, surgical tool, gleaming, a smile, frozen in a silver frame. Elizabeth, short, alive and laughing. Cross feels his stomach twist, the faint click of a lighter behind him, looking for something. Detective, the voice smooth, calm, detached. Cross turns. Haskins stands there, cigarette between two fingers, eyes sharp as glass. You came without a warrant, detective. That was careless. What did you do to her? Cross says. She wanted to be remembered. Haskins says, I made sure she would be. Cross steps forward, but Haskins does not move. He smiles faintly. You cannot prove anything, detective. The city will forget her tomorrow. They always forget. Cross leaves with nothing but fury. He returns later with a warrant. The house is empty. The tools gone. The walls scrubbed clean as bone. Days turn to weeks. The headlines fade. Another crime. Another scandal. But Cross cannot let go. He carries her photograph, folded in his coat pocket like a wound. One night, he finds a letter slid beneath his office door. The same type, the same spacing. It reads, You look for me in the dark, but I live in the light. The city made me, detective, and I am not done. Cross sits in the dark, the neon glow bleeding through the blinds. His cigarette burns to ash. He whispers to the empty room, Justice does not live here anymore. Outside, the rain begins again, steady, endless. The city keeps breathing, pretending to sleep, pretending to forget, but Cross knows better. The city never forgets. It only waits. The city breathes smoke and gasoline. the air heavy with the stench of rain-soaked streets and restless souls. Detective Samuel Cross moves through it like a ghost, chasing echoes of a name that refuses to die. George Haskin, surgeon missing, presumed gone. But Cross knows men like him do not vanish. They hide in plain sight, behind the reflection of respectability. Days blur into nights, and nights into something less human. Cross no longer tastes the coffee he drinks, or the cigarettes he burns. The world has shrunk to a handful of names and faces that flicker in the light of his desk lamp. Elizabeth Short, her smile printed on the inside of his eyelids. Haskin, his shadow etched across every alley in Los Angeles. The department wants him off the case. The chief says the trail is cold. The mayor wants headlines for something cleaner, safer. The public needs to believe the city is not devouring its own daughters. But Cross cannot let go. He sees her everywhere, in reflection, in dreams, in the pale face of every girl walking home alone. A janitor from the Biltmore Hotel comes forward one night, nervous hands twisting a cap. He says he saw Elizabeth there the night before she vanished. Saw her meet a man, gray suit, dark gloves. They talked near the elevators, then left together. Cross asks him to describe the car. Black sedan, maybe a Lincoln, no plates. Remembered the next morning. Cross is in Pasadena again. The house still empty, but something new. The smell of bleach, thicker than before on the floor. Faint stains almost gone, but not quite. He stands in silence, hearing nothing but the echo of rain on the roof. The city outside hums a song of rot and denial. He opens a drawer, finds a photograph. Not of Elizabeth this time, but another woman. Younger, same dark hair, same haunted eyes. Written on the back, February 10th. He feels his stomach tighten. The date, only a week ago. The ink, still fresh. Another girl missing, reports the paper that evening. Found near a construction yard, body arranged like art. The same signature, the same clean lines. The city screams again, and the cameras flash, and the blood dries fast in the California sun. Cross stares at the photos. The light flickers. The smell of developing chemicals fills the room. The coroner whispers, surgical again, precise like before. The killer did not stop. He only waited for the right kind of silence. He returns to the diner. The waitress no longer smiles. She says, men have been coming asking questions about Elizabeth, about the detective. One of them, tall, gloves again, gray suit, same man maybe, or maybe his ghost. She says she is leaving town. She has seen enough. Cross drives through the city till dawn. The skyline, a jagged heartbeat of neon and sin. He stops near the river, the air cold enough to bite. He looks down at the water and imagines it red and still, the way it must have been the first time. Back at his apartment, a note waits, slipped under the door. No envelope, no signature. The same machine-typed letters, the same rhythm. It reads, you look for me among the living, but I live with the dead. You should stop, detective, before the city eats you too. Cross laughs without sound. He pours another drink. The whiskey dulls. Nothing. He walks to the mirror. His reflection stares back, hollow-eyed and tired. His badge dull. His heart colder than it was when this began. He whispers to himself, she was supposed to be more than a headline. He visits the morgue again. 2 bodies, now laid side by side. The coroner says nothing. Cross touches the cold metal drawer and closes his eyes. He hears music, faint, distant jazz from a record player. Somewhere above the hum of the city, he imagines Haskins listening, smiling, tapping his finger in time with the rhythm of decay. Morales finds him sleeping at his desk. Days later, the case files spread like a graveyard of paper. We have nothing. He says, we have ghosts, Cross replies. Ghosts talk louder than the living. If you know how to listen, a call comes just after midnight. A scream in the distance. A third body, they say. This one different. Staged, but unfinished. As if interrupted, Cross feels the pulse quicken in his temple. He drives through the rain siren, cutting through the dark. The scene is an old warehouse near downtown. Shadows crawl along the walls. The girl lies beneath a hanging light, half alive, half gone. She whispers something before the paramedics take her. The doctor, she says over and over, the doctor with silver eyes. The ambulance fades into the storm. Cross stands there alone. The puddles shimmer like mirrors. He looks into one and sees his own face. And for the first time, he does not recognize it. He knows what comes next. There will be another letter, another taunt, another dance. The city will pretend to mourn and then forget. Because that is what Los Angeles does. It forgets its angels and buries them under the weight of tomorrow. Cross lights another cigarette and lets the rain put it out. The smoke rises anyway. Ghosts never die, he says softly. They only wait for the next chapter. The city hums louder now. The whispers turn to shouts. The headlines scream the killer in the dark. The doctor of death Los Angeles has found a monster to feed on. And the cameras flash like lightning over shallow graves. Detective Samuel Cross has not slept in 4 days. His office smells of rain and burnt tobacco. The case files spill across the floor like a map of hell. The faces of the dead stare back silent and accusing. He hears their voices in the the static hum of the city. He knows what they are asking, but he has no answer. Morales quit 2 nights ago, said he could not watch the city eat another soul. Cross said nothing, just nodded, lit another cigarette, and watched him walk away. Some men are lucky enough to escape the fire. Others only learn to live it. Cross drives to the river at dawn. The fog rolls thick as smoke. He parks and steps out the water, slow and black beneath the bridge. In the distance, sirens wail another body, maybe another promise broke. He drops his cigarette into the current and watches the ember vanish like a star dying. He knows where Haskins is even before the call comes. A nurse from an old private hospital on the outskirts of town says a man came in. Late night, pale shaking, asked for morphine, left before dawn. Left behind a photograph of Elizabeth Short, the same photograph Cross had buried in his desk drawer. The hospital stands quiet and empty when he arrived. Paint peeling from the walls, the air stale and heavy with disinfectant. The halls echo his footsteps like a confession. The power flickers, weak light spilling through broken blinds. In the operating room, he finds him, George Haskins, sitting on the edge of a metal table, hands trembling, a cigarette burning between his fingers, his eyes hollow silver in the half-light you came across. Says Haskins smiles, faint, tired of running. He says, tired of pretending the city wanted a villain, so I gave it one. You think you are chasing justice, detective, but you are only chasing your own reflection. Cross steps closer, his heart, a slow drum. You killed them. You carved them up like they were pieces of art. Haskins nods almost gently. They wanted to be seen. Every one of them came to the city to be more than flesh. They wanted immortality. I gave them that you think I am the sickness, but I am only the symptom. Cross raises his gun, but his hands do not shake. He has waited too long for this moment. The doctor does not move. The rain starts again outside, a slow, soft rhythm against the glass. You cannot stop the city. Haskins says, even if you kill me, there will be another one tomorrow and another. After that, the city breeds us, detective. We are what it deserves. Cross fires once the sound cracks through the room. Like thunder, Haskins falls back, blood spreading dark on the cold steel. His eyes open, fixed on nothing. The rain drowned everything. The report says justified. The papers call Cross a hero. The public celebrates for a week, then forgets by the end of the month. Another headline, another tragedy, another ghost for the streets to swallow. Cross does not celebrate. He spends his nights walking the alleys where the light never reaches. He stops at the old lot on Norton Avenue, the grass grown over the ghost. Quiet for now, he kneels and whispers a name, Elizabeth Short, and for a moment the city holds its breath. He returns to his office, the drawer still open, the photograph. Still there, he pours a drink and stares at it until the glass empties outside. Thunder rolls again and the neon flickers. The rain against the window sounds almost like applause. The phone rings once, then again. He does not answer. He knows what it is. Another case, another name, another story the city will forget. He closes his eyes and breathes smoke and silence. This is Crimson Files, he says to no one, where the truth never sleeps and the darkness never ends.